The narcissist's twin lines of defense. In order to understand your narcissistic opponent, and let's not avoid recognizing the fact that we regard you as our opponent, it is essential that you realize that we adopt two lines of defense. It is imperative that our kingdom remains intact, that our rule over you is not impeded, hindered, or diminished in any way. This means that we must always have control. By maintaining control, we are assured of achieving the provision of the prime aims, so we gain fuel, most importantly, character traits, and the residual benefits. Imagine, if you will, a motor vehicle. This motor vehicle has a computer which controls the suspension of the vehicle. This computer makes thousands of calculations and adjustments every second, so that the suspension alters to take into account holes in the road, rocks, rises, dips, and any deviation. The consequence of these frequent and instantaneous adjustments is that the car itself never lurches, dips, rolls, leans, or deviates. You could balance a glass of water on the dashboard, and it would never spill. The car remains still and steady. We are similar. We must always maintain control. We have to have control over our environment so that we know there will be no loss of fuel, no reduction in the elements of the construct, no destruction of our empire, and the descent into oblivion. To ensure this control, just like ensuring the motor vehicle remains steady, we have to make repeated and frequent adjustments to cater for the vagaries of the environment. We must tackle the challenges, maintain the loyalty, head off the insurrection, cut down the rebellions, stifle the dissent, maintain the discipline, and whatever changes, alterations, and differences occur, control must be maintained. It does not matter if our behavior, when viewed from your perspective, is regarded as inconsistent, illogical, hypocritical, contradictory, abusive, absurd, and so forth, so long as the control is maintained. That is what matters above all else. By keeping control, we gain what we need, and we continue to exist as we require. Any challenge to this control requires a defensive response from us, and this comes in two distinct forms. We have a twin defense mechanism. The first line is denial. The second line is distract and deflect. Dealing with denial. If you challenge us in some way, which therefore threatens our control, then our immediate response will be one of denial. Your challenge may be one which wounds us. Therefore, you can expect a response by way of ignited fury, which encompasses the denial. Or, more likely, you will be providing us with challenge fuel. Thus, you will not be wounding us, you will be giving us fuel. But we not only want to provoke you into giving us more fuel, but we also have to assert control and assert our superiority. And the issuing of denial achieves both. Take such an exchange, for example. The first voice is that of the victim, the accusing victim. Thereafter is the denying narcissist. Victim: I saw you in a bar this evening, Lorenzo's, and you were with another woman. Narcissist: No, I wasn't. Yes, you were. I saw you. You could not have done. I was at work. I had a meeting run on. There was a new client, and he needed the team and I to sort quite a few problems out for him. Stop lying. I saw you with my own eyes. Well, you need new glasses because it was not me. You think you saw me. You didn't. It was. I know what you looked like, for God's sake. You were holding hands with a slim woman with long brown hair, and she had a green blouse on. It wasn't me. It was. Stop lying. Just admit it, will you? It was not me. I saw you. I saw you with her. You couldn't have done. Like I said, I have been in work until now. Ring Tom. Go on. He will confirm that I have. The narcissist maintains the denial. Challenge fuel is being received as the victim is either frustrated, angry, hurt, or upset. The words used, the tone, the facial expression, and the body language all contribute to the provision of fuel. If the victim is the intimate partner, primary source, IPPS, then the fuel will be of a very high potency. The quantity of fuel delivered is so far low since the discussion has only lasted a minute or so, but the frequency is constant during that minute. The narcissist will continue to deny in order to maintain control and assert his superiority for the purposes of putting down his challenge. If the victim keeps asserting the allegation, the narcissist will continue with the denial until the victim gives up with the assertion. The narcissist then has fuel and has maintained or regained superiority. Sometimes the first line of defense is all that is needed to maintain the defense of the narcissist's realm. However, if the narcissist senses that the victim believes that they are gaining the upper hand, and thus has in effect broken through the first line of defense of denial, then the narcissist will move to deploy the second line of defense, which is that of distraction and deflection. This second line is vast, extensive, and draws on a myriad of narcissistic manipulations. Some of them are subtle and insidious, others are blatant and rudimentary. Nevertheless, they fall under the banner of distraction and deflection. Returning to the example above, the increasingly exasperated victim decides to play their ace card and produces a mobile phone which contains footage of the narcissist with the mystery lady holding hands and sharing a kiss. The victim plays the footage and the narcissist watches. The denial could, of course, be maintained, and in some instances this does happen. For instance, the narcissist will state, "That's not me, that's someone else." However, the narcissist will observe that the victim is displaying the signs of gaining the upper hand. The words used, tone and expression will alter to denote that the victim believes that she has now won or is winning the argument, and therefore the repeated denial is not going to enable the narcissist to maintain superiority for much longer. Yes, he may continue to draw fuel from the victim if the victim continues to respond in an exasperated or incredulous manner, but the superiority has to be achieved also. We have to keep the upper hand. Accordingly, this is where the second line of defense is activated. The lesser narcissist may just grab the mobile phone and smash it. This is deflection and distraction. Admittedly, it will not win any awards for ingenuity or subtlety, but this is what such action achieves on the part of the narcissist. 1. The evidence that supports the victim's challenge to the narcissist's superiority has gone. In the compartmentalized world of the narcissist, if it is not there, it does not exist, and moreover, it never existed. Accordingly, the victim will say, "You smashed it because you know I am right." The narcissist responds with, "Right about what?" "You kissing that woman." "What woman?" "The one on the video." "What video?" "The one I just showed you." "No, you didn't." Note how the first line of the defense has been resurrected. The destruction of physical property, a manipulation, albeit a base one, was deployed as a deflection and distraction, and then the narcissist, feeling that the challenge has actually been addressed, deals with the follow-up challenge from the victim by reverting to the first line again, and thus engages in denial once more. Returning to the question of what this act achieves for the narcissist, secondly, the response of the victim to this manipulation will provide fuel, and 3, superiority is maintained through this act of destroying the phone. How might the mid-range narcissist respond to this escalation on the part of the victim? Denial only worked so far, thus the second line of defense is deployed. Narcissist: "What the hell do you think you're playing at?" Victim: "What do you mean?" "Spying on me." "What? I'm not. I'm showing you in that video what you've done." "Yes, you are. I'm sick of you trying to control me, spying on me like this. And I'm not the only one who thinks this. John said to me only last week, he thinks you are very controlling." John thinks that? How do you work that one out? Oh, he's not the only one who thinks it. A few of my friends think it as well. Of course, I've tried to defend you against what they say, but now I'm coming to realize they're actually right. You are so controlling, always spying on me, trying to catch me out when I'm not doing anything wrong. The victim then gets sucked into justifying her own behavior, trying to defend herself against the imaginary control she apparently exerts over the narcissist. The narcissist has deployed blame shifting, triangulation, and smearing as part of the second line of the defense, and it has worked. Fuel is being provided, and the initial allegation about cheating has been left by the wayside. The mid-range narcissist could have distracted and deflected by walking off and engaging in a silent treatment, absent or present, or accusing the victim of having an affair, blame shifting, labelling, projection, and therefore all manner of different manipulations can form part of this second line of defence. How about the greater? How might he have responded to the production of this video evidence? The greater narcissist may have adopted the approach of denial to begin with. However, there is a significant chance that the greater will have either seen what the victim had been doing, been tipped off by someone as to what the victim has done, or has also ascertained from the ability to read the victim's demeanour that they do have some potential ace to be produced. Accordingly, the greater would have not bothered with the denial to begin with. His entire confidence in the efficacy of the second line of defence to this challenge means he can dispense with the first line. Thus, the conversation may well have proceeded in this manner. Victim: I saw you in a bar this evening, Lorenzo's, and you were with another woman. Narcissist: Did you? Why didn't you come in and say hello? I was going to call you. That's Jennifer, an old friend of mine. Oh, I see. You didn't say you were meeting her. Did I not? I think you'll find that I did. I told you a week ago about catching up with her. I haven't seen her in ages. You met her before, do you remember? It was when we were at the box at the racing. For Ladies' Day last summer, you had that delightful dress on. You know, the striking green one. I got it you from Harvey Nichols. Away goes the greater and embarks on a monologue, drawing up details from the past, real or invented, showering compliments, and distracting the victim from the thrust of their complaint. In effect, the greater may deploy a word salad to deflect and distract, and thus gain fuel and maintain superiority. The greater has a vast array of potential ways of deploying the second line of the defence. For instance, he might also say, in the alternative, "Oh, that woman, she is obsessed with me. There's nothing to worry about. Yes, she kissed me, rather presumptuous of her, but can you see how I broke it off? Look, watch carefully, you can see I back away from her. I didn't want her causing a scene, she's a bit of a loony, you know, but you've got nothing to worry about there. You're not going to let someone like her come between you and me, are you?" Accordingly, the greater has used blame shifting, smearing, triangulation, and charm, all as part of the second line of defence. An alternative outcome would be, "I kissed her, so what? If you kissed me more often, this wouldn't happen. You might want to take a bit of notice and up your game, or you will lose me." Threat, blame shifting, triangulation. Or, "It really is nothing. She was just being rather zealous. You know people throw themselves at me. It's you that I want. Why else am I here with you and nobody else? Now, let me feel what a real kiss feels like. Flattery, charm, triangulation." Or, "I was recruiting her for that threesome you said you wanted. You do remember agreeing to that, don't you? Admittedly, you were a little tipsy, but you did say you wanted to do it. You were calling me at 9 o'clock to come round, but I wanted you to myself, of course, before she joins us." Triangulation, gaslighting. The greater will invariably rely on his charm and self-confidence to assert superiority and head off the challenge, possibly switching to the issue of threats if required. Either way, the fuel is obtained and the deflection and distraction line of defence remains intact and superiority is maintained, and thus control with it. Denial is the first port of call for us, in order to maintain control, though less so with the greater. And then the range of manipulations from gaslighting, threat, word salad, silent treatment, bullying, intimidation, labelling, and triangulation, and more besides, form part of the second line of defence. We will embed split thinking, volte-face, hypocrisy, contradiction, within the second line in order to maintain control and keep control on an even keel. Such is the breadth and depth of this second line, you will not breach it, and we will keep going until you are forced into a retreat. We are fueled, and we maintain that control that is so paramount to us. This is why we do as we do.